So the Washington Commanders had a huge 2024, as we know, and given the success that they had this past season, has other teams wanting to take their coaches from the staff. More specifically, the offensive side of the ball, and even more specifically, the net, the people that are tied closely with coaching quarterback Jayden Daniels. 3 coaches already on the Washington Commanders staff has been asked and interviewed for other positions elsewhere. A lot of these people have close ties to Jayden Daniels' success, and we could potentially be losing them. Let's talk about it.
The way that we live is not for everybody. We're going to run and put our bodies on people in a violent manner. I love the way she move it, shake it all day. When she cry for help, the shawty is the winner. You can tell that shawty.
You know what time it is. It's time to come out.
I love the way she move it, shake it all day.
YouTube, what's going on? It's Juan Gotti here. We have the Washington Commanders video, and in today's video, I'm coming on here with the video where we're going to be talking about coaches that have key success and the reason why Jayden Daniels was successful this past year, potentially being on the move for an upgrade position elsewhere in the NFL. So without further ado, let's get straight into today's video. Before we do, make sure you guys go down below, leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel if you are new, turn on post notifications so you get notified when I upload new videos like this to the channel. We want to road to 9,000 subscribers, so we greatly appreciate if you can reach that goal as soon as possible. Thank you so much. Let's get straight into today's video. So first and foremost, I want to say, guys, this comes with the territory. When you're a good team, when you have a good record, when you have a sensational quarterback like Jayden Daniels, you can expect for other teams to be looking like, hey, I want to build my team just like the Washington Commanders and how they built their coaching staff. So if I can't get the offensive coordinator, if I can't get the defensive coordinator, let me try to get the assistant or the assistant of the assistant or the quarterback's coach, running back's coach, etc. So that's what's going on here in Washington. And I also want to add the fact that yes, this can affect Jayden Daniels as far as him losing coaches, but that happens to the best of the best, man. So I don't expect this to impact him negatively because it's Jayden Daniels at the end of the day. I still think regardless of who may come in, if we do in fact lose these guys, we're going to be just fine. We probably can promote from within, so we don't necessarily have to go out and sign another different coach from elsewhere. We can probably keep it within house if anything was to be finalized at any point this offseason. So what am I talking about, Juan? You got 3 coaches on the staff that has been interviewed for positions elsewhere. First and foremost, you have assistant quarterbacks coach David Blau, who we know is very close with Jayden Daniels. They always playing pig at practice, etc.
You know, we carry over each and every week, but it's super competitive. It's a lot of trash talking, but I mean that's kind of what the people we are.
I don't know if he liked the result the first time, so then we just kept playing, and so it's turned into our thing, and it's been a lot of fun, and allows me to compete with him a little bit.
The 29-year-old Blau often takes it to the Offensive Rookie of the Year candidate, and each quarterback plays to their strength.
Hey, if it's under 15 yards, I feel pretty good about myself just taking those. But that was my struggle in my game, was over 15, over 20. So that's when he starts to whip me around a little bit.
David Blau is just recently out of the NFL as well, so he's kind of still on that younger side. He has been interviewed to be by the Jets, requested to be interviewed by the Jets for their coaching, their quarterback's coach position. So it would be an upgrade for Coach Blau as he would go from assistant to the quarterback's coach for the New York Jets. But they're in the process of getting their whole staff together. As we know, they just got Aaron Glenn, and they're looking to bring somebody in to help fill out that staff, maybe, you know, to pair up with Aaron Rodgers or maybe a young guy that they go out and get. But David Blau could be on the move this offseason, and that could mess up, you know, a little bit of a chemistry with him and Jayden Daniels in the sense of how close they are off the field and how close they just, you know, are and cool together and have that chemistry. But again, it doesn't negatively affect Jayden Daniels in my opinion, because I think we just promote from within if anything was to be finalized. So when I say I don't think it's negatively going to affect him, I'm more so talking about his on-field play next season or the seasons after that if we do get new positional coaches. But again, as far as chemistry and relationship-wise, it could affect him because he'll probably miss him, stuff like that. So I do want to make that clear that I keep saying that. I know y'all may get confused and say, oh, Juan, he'll be fine. Yes, I agree he'll be fine, but you can't miss the point that these are the guys that have true ties and success to Jayden Daniels this past year. So losing him could play a factor on, him, and not negatively. So I just want to make that clear again. Then after David Blau, you have Tavita Pritchard, who is the quarterback's coach, and this is the one that that affects me the most personally, probably more than anybody. He's expected to get interviewed by the Jaguars for their offensive coordinator position. This one affects me the most because Tavita Pritchard, for me, was the guy next in line to replace Cliff Kingsbury when he is ready to leave for a head coaching job next season. See, what I want to do if I was in charge of the team is promote within, create a factory. We don't have to go out and bring in other guys. So when a guy like David Blau, who's assistant coach, he leaves and go elsewhere, okay, the next person that was under him be the assistant coach. Then the next person that's under Tavita Pritchard become the quarterback's coach. I want to create a factory and keep it within, so that way that doesn't affect the players too much. That doesn't affect Jayden Daniels too much, and that keeps us, intact. Like, it's not too much change. Of course, it's gonna be a little bit different per person because everyone may have their different looks and philosophy on things, but it's way better to keep things in house and keep things moving when it's all just us instead of going out and get another coach from another team. Not saying that's bad either, but that's just how my personal opinion is on the outlook of it. I'd rather keep things in house. So Tavita Pritchard potentially becoming the Jaguars offensive coordinator. As we know, they just hired, Liam Cohen as an offensive coordinator or as the head coach, and he's an offensive mind, and he had a damn good job there in Tampa Bay with Baker Mayfield. So maybe Tavita Pritchard's a guy that can be on their staff, and if he does go, that's the one that hurts me the most more than anything because I felt like he was next up to be the replacement for Cliff Kingsbury when he goes. And a good thing that I think about him that a lot of people have to realize that he may actually be really, really good because the fact that we didn't keep many people from the Ron Rivera regime and stuff like that, the fact that we kept him just lets you know, like, okay, he may actually be something special. So I hope he stays around. I hope he doesn't get hired by the Jacksonville Jaguars, and we can keep him for another year, and then we promote him to offensive coordinator. And the fact that he's getting an offensive coordinator interview should let us know, put us on notice too, like, hey, we got to maybe get him an upgrade or something before another team try to poach him away, because clearly there's interest across the league for him to be an offensive coordinator. So that's my pick. I know a lot of people were saying Anthony Lynn, etc. like that. I wouldn't mind Anthony Lynn as the offensive coordinator because he is a older guy, veteran guy. He's been around the block a few times, and he's a former head coach. But I want to stay with a young, innovative guy, a person that has a direct impact on Jayden Daniels, as he's currently the quarterback's coach of this team. So day to day, he's with Cliff, he's with Jayden Daniels, etc. So I want Tavita Pritchard to stay, and this is the one, if anything, would impact me the most if he leaves. And then last but not least, today we got more news just like about an hour ago. The Texans have requested to interview Washington's pass game coordinator Brian Johnson for their vacant offensive coordinator position. As we know, they unexpectedly fired Bobby Slowick this past after the season ended. And now they have a vacancy that they have to fill. Brian Johnson, as we know, was the former Eagles offensive coordinator, and a lot of people had some bad words to say about him in Eagles land. They did not like Brian Johnson as the offensive coordinator there. But then he came to Washington as the pass game coordinator, and he's been really good here as well. So all three of these guys have a direct impact on Five and the success that he had this past year. I want to make it clear for the fifth time because I'm already knowing I'm going to get the comments like, Juan, relax, you're overthinking, he's going to be fine. I understand Jayden Daniels is going to be fine when we get new coaches. If these guys, in fact, get hired at new positions and new teams, I understand that they're going to be fine. He's going to be fine regardless of who we bring in. But you can't deny that these guys have played a true impact on the success that Five had this season. First and foremost, Jayden Daniels would tell you that himself. Like, he would tell you, like, all the coaches that we had, whether it's Cliff, whether it's David Blau, whether it's Tavita Pritchard, Brian Johnson, anybody that has direct impact on him on the offensive side of the ball and the passing game, he's going to tell you up first and foremost that these guys are a big reason as to why he was successful this past year. So I want to run it back with all these guys. I want to run it back with all these guys at least one more year because, again, this comes with the territory, y'all. We know we're a good team. We're a team in which people want to take our stuff away from us now because we're really good. So we got to be prepared to deal with this every year now. Guys coming in, leaving to other positions, and a lot of other guys getting better opportunities elsewhere. So you can't do nothing but be happy for them. At the end of the day, I don't want them to go anywhere. I don't want Tavita Pritchard to go anywhere. I don't want Brian Johnson to go anywhere. I don't want David Blau to go anywhere because I want them here, around Jayden and around this offense. But at the end of the day, they gotta get a promotion as well, man. They got families to feed. They got money to be made as well. So if they gonna get a promotion, man, I mean, all for it as well. But I would love to keep them here in Washington as long as we can before we have to departure. But at the end of the day, that's a part of the business. And if I'm Washington and if I believe in a coaching staff and a team more, it's Dan Quinn and Adam Peters. DQ already answered about that in the final press conference about how he would replace these guys, and he pretty much said that's something that you have to be prepared for and you have to think about every single day is how do we replace a Cliff Kingsbury, how do we replace a Brian Johnson, a Tavita Pritchard when they're leaving. And I think it's simple. I think it's stay in house and you promote from within. So all these guys that are working their tails off day in, day out, that are quality control coaches, that are assistants of the assistants, and that don't really have a big role to us, these are the guys that are there every day that is learning from these guys that are in the positions that they potentially want to be in at some point. So I'm telling you guys, we're good. JD5 is good, but you have to talk about it and bring the news that we could potentially be losing 3 coaches that had a strong impact on Jayden Daniels this past year. All right, we good? All right. So there you have it. Let me just go to the video in the comment section down below. As always, it's me and boy Juan Gotti. Like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Again, Brian Johnson being requested to interview by the Houston Texans for their offensive coordinator position. Tavita Pritchard, he is requested to have an interview by the Jacksonville Jaguars for their offensive coordinator position. And then we had David Blau, who had an interview with the New York Jets. So let me just get to this video in the comment section again. Like, comment, subscribe. On the road to 9,000 subscribers. Love each and every one of y'all. Y'all have a blessed one. Stay safe. Be easy out there. Peace.